Let us begin, not with a bang, but with a gentle whisper through time. Our story starts long, long ago, when the land that would become the United States was just endless forests, rivers, and wide skies. One day in 1492, a man named Christopher Columbus sailed west and accidentally stumbled upon the edge of the Americas. People from Europe, mostly from Britain, France, and Spain, began to settle on the coasts. They used quills to write letters that took weeks to arrive. Wooden houses, simple farms, and quiet villages were built. Nothing moved too fast. The settlers planted corn, traded fur, and sometimes argued with each other over fences. Waiting again. And finally, in 1776, a document was written, the Declaration of Independence. It declared that the colonies were now free. He wasn't looking for it, but as history often goes, he found something anyway. Trains. More people moved westward in wagons. But the days were still long and full of gentle routines, chopping wood, stitching clothes, and reading by candlelight. There were factories, tall buildings, and automobiles that moved faster than horses. Presidents came and went. Some wore glasses, some had mustaches. People began to type instead of write. Planes flew, online shopping. Still, some people missed the quiet days of candlelight and slow letters. Radios hummed softly in family living rooms. For thousands of years, indigenous peoples lived across the land. Banks closed. People stood in lines for bread. But families held each other close and read bedtime stories by a kerosene lamp. They farmed, fished, built lodges, and passed down stories. We'll drift right over it like a soft cloud. After the war, the country was full of babies, newspapers, and very polite television anchors. Everything moved slowly, like the wind through prairie grass. Then came the explorers. He liked farming and didn't smile in portraits. Still watched stars blink above the same skies their ancestors saw. Centuries passed. By the 1700s, 13 British colonies had formed. They drank tea. They wore powdered wigs. States were added. Roads were built. The capital got more chairs. And then came a great sadness, the Civil War in the 1860s, but we'll whisper past it gently. It was a heavy time, but afterward, the country began to heal. Slowly, like moss growing back on a stone. Then came the American Revolution. But don't worry, we'll whisper through it. It lasted from 1775 to 1783. There were battles, but in between, there was a lot of waiting, marching, writing, talking, and so the United States of America was born, slowly, quietly. The early days of the U.S. were filled with debates, long walks, and handwritten letters. George Washington became the first president. Then came the 1800s. Things picked up a little. There were steamboats. The country grew. Next came the 1900s. The Great Depression came in the 1930s. It was quiet. Then came World War II. But don't worry, the 1960s brought marches and music. The 1980s brought computers the size of furniture. And then in the 2000s, the internet arrived. Emails, emojis, and today. The United States is still here, stretching from sea to sea. People still vote, still plant gardens, still sip coffee on porches. So when you hear America, think not only of fireworks and big speeches, think of slow trains on empty tracks, wheat waving in Kansas fields, children yawning in schoolrooms, and the steady hum of quiet everyday life. Because history, even American history, isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just a soft whisper beneath the stars.